Hello everyone and welcome to part 4 of Rags to Riches with Dartford. Now, you join back with us sitting in second place on equal points with first, with a game in hand. Yeah, it's gone pretty well since the last episode. We were sitting around the 4th-5th mark, and then slowly we've been moving up, and we have actually been sitting in first for quite a while. But like I say, have played an extra game than us, but we are both on 61 points. They've got slightly better goal difference than us, but not by a lot. So yeah, at the moment, going pretty well, because if we have a look at the recent results, last time out, we played Chelmsford and Hungerford, where we won both of them, which was pretty good. But then we lost 2 in a row against Bath and then Haven't seemed to be our bogey team pretty much. If we go to past meetings, we've never won against them, including a 5-1 loss. So yeah, they're definitely our bogey team. But then we won 5-0 against Potter's Bar in the FA Trophy. Never heard of them, but yeah, pretty decent win. Then we played Ebbsfleet twice in a row, actually. We won away from home, but then lost at home 1-0. Then we've had a pretty decent run of results, winning 5 of our last 6 games, where our only loss was actually against Banbury in the FA Trophy 4th round. Banbury are a team that are 10th in the National League North, so probably a team we should have beat, but it doesn't really matter too much. And then in terms of transfers, we have been a little bit busy. We certainly have. We actually managed to get rid of Charlie Sheringham to Braintree on a free, so that freed up a fair bit of wage budget for us, allowed us to go in for 3 additional players. So we've brought in Charlie Woods, that we have brought in permanently on a free. He's basically just a backup goalkeeper because obviously our main goalkeeper, he left because his loan ran out. If we remember early in the season, I said that our main goalkeeper and one of our main strikers, their loan actually ran out at the beginning of January. So that was a bit annoying. So we've been having to play Dan Wilkes in goal recently. As you can see, he started playing here, which meant we didn't have a backup keeper. So this guy's basically come in as a backup keeper. We're only paying him £108 a week. And then he's got a pretty decent potential ability. His contract's only to the end of the season as well, so if we decide that we don't want him, then we don't need to keep him on. And then we've brought in a couple of extra guys on loan. So we got Callum Hume from Charlton. He is a very, very good player. 4-star sort of advanced playmaker, which suits us very well in our 4-3-3 formation, so he pretty much sits there. In the past 2 games he's played, he hasn't had the best form, getting a 6.8 in both of them, but doesn't really matter too much. Hopefully he should be a very good player for us for the rest of this season. And then we've also brought in Marcus Sablier from Bromley, who is basically another one that can play in that sort of midfield role. Yeah, so he's just going to sit there on our bench as a backup to both Carruthers and Hume, basically, because we don't have many people that can play there. We've pretty much just got Carruthers, Hume, and then Sablier. That's it. So that's why we've brought him in. We have this geezer in on a trial at the moment. TJ Bramble seems to be decent. He can sort of play that wing-back role, so we might bring him in if we need him, but probably not. Actually plays for Ebbsfleet at the moment on a non-contract, but we are over our budget on the wage budget, so we probably can't afford to bring him in. We're about £50 over. I know I keep saying it, but that is probably going to be the end of our transfers this season. But for today's matches, we have Chippenham at home, and they're currently 3rd, and then we've also got Braintree away from home, who are in 8th place. So couple of pretty decent games, and if we manage to keep the form up, then hopefully by the end of this episode we will be at the top of the table, but we'll have to see. Firstly, we need to beat Chippenham. So this is a team we're going to be using, pretty much the normal, but then we've got Hume on the left there in the advanced playmaker role that he seems to be most suited for. When I do quick pick, it suggests to put him in the centre mid, and then Carruthers in the AP, but I think, to be honest, he's probably better off as an AP, and then Carruthers can be in that centre mid. It's because Carruthers prefers to be more attacking, so you can see he prefers to be like a centre mid on attack, but we'll see. Hopefully this should work pretty well. Because yeah, you can see that he's already offended that he's unsuited to the role he's being asked to play. So maybe in the next match we won't play him as a CM. And we have a highlight 3 minutes in, very, very close to the goal, and speaking of the devil, it is going to be Hume taking it. Hits the wall, unfortunately. And that allows their keeper Henry to grab it into his arms. Looks like this highlight is not over as he launches it all the way to our keeper. So from one keeper to the other. We're going to be doing a bit of playing out from defence here. but then a long ball trying to get onto Asante, who does manage to pick it up in the end. Still passing it out from the back. Clark on the right, onto Pierre. Through to Carruthers here. If we can get it to someone in the middle. Onto Coulson, and it actually hits the crossbar and then bounces down, and unfortunately doesn't go our way and doesn't go in. But pretty much immediately we have a corner kick, and once again it hits the crossbar. That's twice now. Twice we should be 2-0 up, to be honest. We should. 18 minutes in, and it's the first highlight where they seem to be on the ball. Henry is going to be wasting a little bit of time here for some reason. Tries to do a long ball over to their striker Young, but our defence is able to grab that nice and easily. Asante moves over to the left to then float it in to Pierre, who uses his head, and finally it doesn't hit the crossbar or the woodwork, and that is a goal for us. 1-0 up, 20 minutes in. Right, we have another corner. Not able to do anything with it, but Carruthers does manage to recover it. Sends it back to Clark, onto Essam, all the way over, trying to get onto Pierre, and I think he's been fouled in a box, and that is going to be a penalty. Who's taking it? It's Hume, actually. It is Hume. He's going to be taking the penalty. Come on. Nicely slotted into the bottom left-hand corner of that goal, and that is 2-0. The match stats here show that we have absolutely dominated. They've had one shot in total. Crazy. But they do have a highlight here where they might be able to finally get another shot. But Clark managed to make the interception there to prevent that happening. Although Asante misses the header, doesn't matter too much because he then makes the tackle. Lover onto Hume, onto Coulson. Gets tackled by Simpson. We could be in for a bit of trouble here. Santos tries to cross it in, but that doesn't trouble our keeper. He managed to get it into his hands. Looks like the first corner for them here. Nothing much of the corner, but they are going to be able to cross it back in, and somehow that's gone in. I don't even really understand what happened. Did they even try to cross it? So we got Dawes here who turns around, passes it to this guy, and then he goes for the shot, I think, and then it ends up coming off of Greenslade, to be fair, and he just dinks it in past our keeper. 2-1. Overall, for the first half of this game, I think we've definitely been the better team and we've played quite well, but we do need to be a bit careful of complacency. That is the only problem. As we've seen, our defence isn't great. So we do have to be a little bit careful here. But Carruthers sends it over to Pierre, who's in acres of space, absolutely acres of space, tries to get it on the right-hand side of the keeper, but is unable to place his shot. 65 minutes in, and it is Chippenham on the ball, coming off of a throw-in. Tries to get it over to one of their players. They do like the long ball. I think they're playing a bit of a direct counter-attack here. But so far, it's only worked once. Lover tries the long ball tactic himself onto Pierre. Through onto Coulson. What's he going to do with it? Tries to put it in himself for some reason rather than put it in the middle. And obviously, nothing happens from that. Can we clear this? We do. Gets it onto Asante, who puts it onto Coulson. Although nobody's really there to be able to pick it up. And that was a pretty terrible ball. Allowing Chippenham to regain possession. Trying to get it onto Young. Bonner misses his interception. And thankfully, the Chippenham player was unable to get it into the goal. Right, 82 minutes in. Let's lower the tempo. Put on a little bit of time wasting. Take off pass into space. Shorten the passing. And then make a few subs to try and get to the end of this game. Bonner, he seems to be losing a bit of concentration from that missed interception. So we're going to swap him out for Nathan Cameron. Bring on Jordan Winter for Clark, I think. And then bring on Sablier for maybe Lovett, I think, in that DM role. Just bring on a few fresh defenders that can hopefully see out the rest of this game. But 84 minutes in, and we've got Hume on a highlight, on a free kick. But yeah, nothing really happened. We've seen the game out, and that is a 2-1 win. Pretty well deserved, I think. That now puts everyone on 32 games played, and it means that we are top of the league with 64 points. Haven't just behind on 61. Okay, so now it is time to see if we can do it again and beat Braintree away from home. They're 6th in the league, so definitely a good side. So we are going to have to be careful if we're going to win here. In terms of the starting 11, it is exactly the same, apart from the fact that I have now swapped Carruthers over to the attacking playmaker role. because he'll be very upset with me if he plays as a centre mid, even though, you know, he plays there perfectly well. And it does mean that we have to play Hume in a role that isn't necessarily suited for him. He's only 3-star on support, but to be fair, he's 4-star on attack, but I feel like that's maybe a bit too much attacking, especially given we've got Pierre on the right. So for now, I'm going to keep him on support. Right, 11 minutes in, and we do have the first highlight. It is Braintree trying to do a nice long ball over, but nobody's able to get it. Pierre, long ball himself onto Asante, gets it onto Carruthers, onto Hume, tries to get through to Asante. He isn't able to get it, but he does make the interception, but he wasn't really able to go far enough into the box to be worrying the keeper with that shot. Immediately, the keeper sends it out, and we manage to regain possession. Hume onto Pierre, tries to chip the keeper, but it didn't work, unfortunately. We're going to hit them with a little bit of courage at around a 20-minute mark. That normally works quite well. There we go, encourage. You can see all their happy faces down to the bottom. They'll have a bit of encouragement. Well, that was a pretty dead first half. We literally just had that one highlight that you saw, and then that was it. Right, 63 minutes in, and we finally have a highlight. It is Lovett trying to get it onto the head of Krasinski. He's not able to get it, but Coulson does recover it. Back onto Krasinski. Gets tackled, but the player's not able to keep it, and it looks like Asante is going to put that in. And I wasn't sure if that was offside, but it doesn't seem to be. And that is us 1-0 up. 72 minutes in, we have another highlight. It started with our keeper playing out from defence. Asante onto Pierre. Back to Essam. Tries to get a long ball over to Carruthers, but he's not able to pick it up. It does mean that the Braintree players now do have possession. Little bit worrying here. And whoever that player in the middle was in absolutely acres of space, but thankfully he wasn't able to find him. And that is a terrible interception. And Aaron Blair has put it in, but it's offside. Right, 78 minutes in, let's make a couple of subs and some tactical changes. Lower the tempo, put the time wasting on, bring on Cameron for Essam, Winter for Clark, almost exactly the same subs, to be honest, and then Sablier for Lovett. And seems like our tactical changes and subs managed to let us see that out because no more highlights happened. And that is another win. Haven't won their game against Taunton, so there's still a 3-point gap, unfortunately. Chippenham, what did they do? They won against Cheshunt 1-0. Dover won 6-5 against Chelmsford. Insane. There we go, another 2 wins for us in our title fight, which means that we've actually won the past 5 games in a row. So yeah, looking pretty good. In terms of when we'll come back, I might maybe do these games here, just get to the end of March. Maybe we'll play Chelmsford and Dulwich, or Dulwich and Eastbourne, I don't know. Thankfully, we've already played Havant twice. So in terms of who wins the title, if it is between us and Havant, we're not going to be playing them to find out. So that doesn't matter too much. And then I think we must have already played Chippenham twice as well. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that fantastic stuff. And I'll see you next time.